This video is adding shims to a new Mercury engine for increased down trim. You're going to need a lifting ring for a Mercury engine, and you're going to need, for Verado, add this ring as well. Little did I know that I guess these are Verado motors, but when you pull the cover off, this is the plastic cover when you take the engine cover off. Below that, this is what's there. So there's two types of engines. They have a single bolt here, like this one, and then three smaller bolts. Or this, instead of a bolt being here, it'll be a threaded cavity, which you could put your lifting ring. Well, in this case, little did I know, I bought the threaded lifting ring, thinking that this was going to go into my engine. This is a 2022 Mercury 4-stroke. It's in this case, it's a jet configuration, but it's part of the 115, 90, 75 motor category. Very popular type of engine. But for lifting, you're going to need the Verado lifting ring kit. So it's part of, you need this ring and you need this adapter plate. It's very simple. You just put it on and screw the hexes into these threads. Get the adapter plate on. You torque these down using an Allen. Just light torque. Make sure they're just threaded all the way. And then you put the lifting ring on. This company, what is this company? Marine Tech. Looks like some pretty high quality stuff. Luckily, my buddy, he's got his boat here. It's a 115 Merc 4-stroke, so just a little bit more horsepower version of this one, but it has the exact same lifting system like this. So you're going to screw this down until it orients the way you want it. This can go in. Is that going to go in? I'll just back it off. In this case, I'm going to use a engine hoist. It's rated, 500 pounds. This engine weighs 439 pounds, I believe. And the reason why we're adding these shims, here's what they look like. Basically, this boat, when it's on plane, is extremely sensitive to weight. If there's too much weight in the back, it starts to porpoise by going like up and down and up and down and up and down. And I'm at the maximum up trim or down trim that this thing has. So I have to get more down trim. So what you have is you have these transom shims. There's big hunks of aluminum, and basically you're gonna loosen your engine off, and then these go in between this and the transom plate, and then it gives you this much degree, I think it's 5 degrees extra down trim. But anyways, you can see how it's tapered like that. So at the top it goes like this, and basically kicks the engine out so that it at this angle, so that it gives you that much more trim. And I need that so that I can stop the porpoising when the boat is unloaded, and it's really sensitive. If I have water in the front live well, it doesn't do it. But if I don't, and I have passengers in the back sitting here or something like that, it will do it. So I need that little extra bit of trim that this just doesn't have from the factory to stop the porpoising and just give me a little bit more control of what the boat is doing with the jet drive. So my buddies are going to come help me tonight. Basically what we're going to do is take tension off the motor. We're going to do one side at a time because we have the shift wire here and whatnot connected. We're not going to totally disconnect it. We're just going to loosen that bolt and loosen that bolt and loosen the other side. We're going to take these two bolts completely out. We're going to slide in this plate. Okay. One thing you're going to have to keep in mind is this is the bolt off my boat. So the transom is going to be a little thicker because you're adding this plate. And I also have this riser plate on and the mounting plate from the engine. So you have to take that distance into account plus this distance. So my stock bolt will not be long enough. So I've got some longer 3.5 inch and 4 inch bolts. So hopefully one of these will be long enough. It looks like the, what is this one? 3.5 inch one will work. So you're gonna have to maybe buy some extra bolts. Just leave them in the bag until you actually finally start taking the bolts off of the engine. I just took this top one out to check because this is gonna be the biggest distance, because the wedge has the largest distance here, obviously at the bottom here. your stock bolt that you have is going to work because there's hardly any distance down there. But that's just to keep that in mind when you're doing it. All right, so my buddy and I, we took all the 4 bolts off. We've got the shim plate now loosely in the back. It still has to be pushed up against this transom. And then we've got the other side for the 2 bolts taken off. And then we've got to push this transom plate up. We'll use like a screwdriver. Not that you should be using a screwdriver as a pry bar, but, and then we have the total weight of the motor suspended by the engine lift. So now we're going to line that up and retorque it back down. All right, so get the transom wedges in place. You want it, I'm going to try to level it with this top plate here, but something to hold it up, use tape, or in this case I have a cotter pin sticking in it. And then we're going to torque it down. So yeah, there we go. All right, so we got the wedge plates in, and of course, because we're getting more negative trim or down trim, it's going to kick, in this case it's my jet pump, but it's going to kick the head closer to the boat. And as you can see, we got actuate that Mark Turner. Yep, keep going. You can see we've got super nice close clearances now off those splash plates. So here, Mark, go the other way. 360. So that's just, I think that's just really as close as really we can get. The foot is totally in the tunnel hull part, and it can't contact, but I can still now go with some more positive trim. Let me just go up. You can see. So that's probably what it was like before. Maybe even a little bit more like that. So here, Mark, put it straight. So yeah, actually wasn't that far. It was probably like that originally. So I gained all of that down trim. So that's quite a bit. That'll stop this from porpoising, which is what was happening. So it's actually worked out really perfect. I just got to torque these with a torque wrench and put the cover back on, and we're good to go. So we'll see on the water if that made a huge difference. It should. All right, last thing to do. Here's the torque specs, and in this case, I have a high lift plate and a high setback, so it's got to be torqued to 90 foot-pounds. If you just had a normal, if you mounted it to the normal transom, it would be 55 foot-pounds. So set your torque wrench to 90 foot-pounds and retorque all of the 4 bolts, and you're good to go.